What up, gamers? Spencer here, and welcome back to Frontline 2 Exilium. So let's continue the Deep Oblivion Part 2 story here. So pretty much I would say we're around halfway there. Rebella leads Pavel into a small room tucked it away in a corner. The sign on the door reads, Consultation Room. Miss Rebella, you're too kind. You knew I was worried sick about my family, and even pulled some strings to expedite the test results. Knowing they're fine really puts my mind at ease. I really should thank your doctor fed him properly. He's in here, right? Huh? Where is he? The door opens. Pavel stares at the empty room in confusion. Rebella closes the door and plants herself in front of it. I'm sorry, Mr. Pavel. Miss Rebella, what's this about? I brought you here to continue our talk from earlier about the vaccine. I've told you everything I can. We've already secured this room. Here, I'd like you to tell me what you couldn't see before. Your information is very important. Seeing the earnest look on Rebella's face, Pavel seems torn. Miss Rebella, you saved my family. I don't want to lie to you, but my whole household depends on this job. I can't afford to lose it. I understand your concern, but perhaps after you meet my friend, your concerns will be alleviated. Your friend? Yes, please wait a moment. Rebella walks to the desk, switches on the display terminal, and enters a communication code. Pavel glances at Rebella's back, then at the unguarded door. In the end, he decides to stay put. The call connects. Kalina! No, I mean Miss Kalina. It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Pavel. I didn't expect I was so well known. Please, have a seat first. Yes, ma'am. Pavel sits down on a chair. You're the head of the Non-Military Forces Administration's Oversight Office here in Odessa, responsible for monitoring PMCs. Of course we know who you are. I see. Then there's no need to be nervous. Rebella and Leva are both trusted subordinates of mine, and my most loyal friends. I asked you here today simply because we want to understand what's been happening with all these PMC personnel falling ill after the callback. The support mobilization was jointly initiated by the Non-Military Forces Administration and the Odessa Oblast government. Naturally, we're responsible for both the recalled personnel and the safety of Odessa. Yes, of course. So, the investigation will be handled entirely by the Non-Military Forces Administration, and all information will be consolidated through us. Individuals and organizations providing intelligence will become cooperative partners of NOMFA, and will ensure their protection. What? Pavel looks helplessly toward Rebella. What Kalina means is, we'll guarantee your safety, personal safety, keep your identity confidential, and, if necessary, help you find better work. Really? Please, trust me. Alright. Pavel licks his lips, then steels himself. Actually, it's no big secret. All of us in the small PMCs know about it. The vaccines, the ones who supply to the vaccination sites, they're not all from the Oblast's approved manufacturers. What? The official vaccines are too expensive, and the supply is limited. It's hard to even get an appointment. Here we go, this is like what we were getting into that other event. There are long queues, and all the available slots get taken by those big shot travelers who just pass through the contamination zones. People like us never get a chance. For those of us going to the yellow zones who want to return, or for the poor folks in the green zones who want to stay, we have to show vaccination records and prove we're healthy. If you catch ELID, best case, we end up here, under the Oblast quarantine. Worst case, we lose everything. Maybe even die. Then I get expelled from the green zones under the excuse of infection control. But if it's only for the vaccination record, that's simple. A little work goes a long way. After all, we do go to places like the yellow zone sometimes, on long-term assignments that exceed the vaccination cycle. It's not like you can get proper vaccines in decontamination zones. So in those cases, the company gets special authorization to purchase vaccines ahead of time, and gives them to us for self-injection. Where there's demand, there's a market, And that's how this kind of cheap vaccine came about, sold specifically to private PMCs and the poorer citizens of the green zones. And these vaccines can still be efficiently registered in the system. Where do you suppose those vaccines come from? Underground brokers? That's only one of the sales channels. Most of these vaccines come from the Yellow Zone's medical resource backflow, either leftovers or defective batches straight off the production line. The fact they even make it back instead of being destroyed means someone's covering their tracks. For the people who can wipe evidence like that, falsifying vaccination records is nothing. I see. So you're seeing a lot of small PMCs are using those cheap vaccines. Yeah, they're a mix of cheap and officially approved doses together to cut costs. We don't go to high-risk areas anyway. With proper protective suits, it's not that easy to get infected. A few unlucky ones in the yellow zones, that's normal. No one cares as long as no one dies. Besides, this is just my personal guess, but even the railway core units in the purification zones aren't necessarily using anything better than us. But they are official URNC troops. Miss Robella, you're a doll. Maybe you don't know how humans think. Or get how humans think. But Miss Kalina, you understand, do you? Don't you? They're leftover hardliner units from the Neo-Soviet Union. You think they get good treatment? It's just forced labor under a new name. The more times I pass through the purification zones, the more I feel for those soldiers who have always protected Odessa, protected the cities from behind them, past and present. They just once chose the wrong method, stood on the wrong side. But now, the people of Odessa have forgotten both the flames of war and those soldiers who fought in it. Sometimes I wonder, if war broke out again, would anyone still volunteer to fight? You go to the front, maybe die, and you might get disposed of for some stupid reason. Even if you live, might as well stay home. That's just me rambling. Don't take it to heart. For a civilian like me, peace is always best. Whatever those bigwigs are planning, I just want to live my days in peace. I've told you everything I know. That's very helpful information. Thank you for cooperating. It's nothing, but please, don't ever let my name out. I didn't study much. The White Zones will never be within my reach. And with the dolls taking all kinds of jobs now, it's hard enough for us humans to find decent work in the Green Zones. Those robots, man, taking their gerbs. You have my word. Like, yeah, I never thought about that now. I think that's the first time I've seen, like, I guess machines taking jobs from humans. Like, with the dolls specifically. Yeah, I've never seen that before until now. Mr. Pavel, there's one more thing I'd like to confirm with you. What is it? Go ahead and ask. Leave after the confession. Pavel casually slouches back in his chair and bounces his leg. Yeah, now he's feeling all comfortable. Compared to before where, like, he's a bit hesitant. It's about your military service. What? Whoa. What was that? I'd even, like, confirm that was, like, an auto, like, continue on that last scene. You seemed rather reluctant to talk about it. At first, I thought you simply didn't want to revisit the past, but from what your coworker said, I might have misunderstood. Yo, Pavel, chatting again? You've been bragging about your old army stories to dolls now? Besides, with the exception of certain special units, most veterans receive government placement. There's always work in the white or green zones. Not exactly a glamorous lifestyle, but it's at least enough to survive. I'm just curious. You don't have to answer if you'd rather not. Since you've already noticed, I won't hide it anymore. Actually, I was a deserter. Wow. A deserter? Yeah, but it's not like I meant to run. There was a skirmish, and my trench got shelled. I blacked it out. When I came to, I found myself buried under the rubble. There were dead bodies everywhere. The cleanup crews must have missed me. The unit was long gone by then. My first thought was to regroup, but when I crawled out, I tripped over a leg and fell flat on my face, and that fall made me think of Alina. Alina? She wasn't born yet at that time, wasn't she? Was she? No, my daughter, my wife. Her name's Alina too. Back then, she wasn't my wife yet. Well, that's not the point. Anyway, we were already seeing each other by then. I wasn't lying before. I really did meet her while on a campaign. Arena passed through a village. She was the prettiest girl there. She brought us bread, sang for us. Everyone liked her, but she slipped me a jar of jam. Just me. Pavel blushes as he reminisces about his wife. After the unit left, we kept in touch. Communication wasn't easy during wartime, but whenever we stayed in one place long enough, I'd write to her. If conditions allowed, she'd reply. Her handwriting was beautiful. Rebella glances at Kalina, who doesn't interrupt. Before that battle, I hadn't gotten a letter from her in a long time. I didn't know if my last letter ever reached her, or if she'd gotten married, or maybe her village. Well, thankfully, it was a false alarm, but I think something changed in me from that point on. Anyway, that fall was scrambled in my head. When I came to my senses, I was already running away from the battlefield, madly sprinting in the opposite direction from my unit. Things like national honor or the safety of our people, none of it mattered compared to marrying Alina. Does your family know? No. The villagers didn't know army rules. I told them I earned my early discharge for distinguished service, and they believed me. And no one ever followed up on it? Who had the time? So many went missing during the war. My officer probably just marked me dead. Later, I exaggerated my service record a bit and pulled a few strings to get my family residency in a satellite city. Of course, I never dared apply for veterans benefits. I do envy the real heroes returning home, but I don't regret it. When I had nothing to lose, I charged into a war full of passion. When I did have something to lose, I realized if I died, no number of victories would matter. From the start, the peaceful life I wanted only counts if I'm alive, together with Alina and the kids. Pavel's words resonate with Robella's neural cloud. She tries to grasp and analyze that feeling. It seems to untangle something deep inside her, something uncertain and unresolved. Pavel misconstrues Robella's silence. Miss Robella, please don't be angry. I know you work for the government. The punishment for an old deserter is neither here nor there. It's better to avoid trouble. I wasn't even planning to bring it up. You're not going to hand me over to the military tribunal now, are you? Kalina. This matter itself no longer stands. The statute of limitations has long expired, and with the recent reorganizations, even identifying a prosecuting authority will be difficult. That's a relief to hear. But Mr. Pavel, legal forgiveness does not mean moral rightness. I don't condone desertion, nor can I, or I have the right to, pardon you in the name of your comrades or the army you once served. I understand. I never expected that. Pavel looks down awkwardly, avoiding Kalina's gaze. But I also can't entirely condemn you. Huh? Mr. Pavel, I too have experienced war firsthand. When flames and smoke separated me from those I cared for, I felt that same bone-deep fear. I understand how hard it is to keep fighting, even for a day, even for an hour, when your heart is weighed down by that kind of fear. To me, war is cruel. It grinds everything equally. The decision to enlist may take a moment, but every minute spent on the battlefield after witnessing blood and death, that's real courage. I can't condone your escape, but I won't deny the danger you faced or the effort you gave. You should understand, during wartime, armies punish deserters harshly to preserve order, to ensure commands are carried out. The war itself is only a brutal means to earn lasting peace for more people. Now that we live in peacetime, I won't expose this matter publicly, but please, in every moment from here on, let your actions be worthy of the forgiveness granted to you by law and by time. I understand. Thank you, Miss Kalina. Thank you for saying that. Pavel's eyes moisten slightly. He hesitates for a moment, then speaks again. I just remembered something. Something that might help with your investigation. Can you wait a moment? Of course. Pavel sniffles and leaves the room. That was a really good scene. I like that whole backstory with Pavel and how, like, you know, at first he was gonna rejoin with the army, but then, you know, when he fell on his face, like, yeah, I have something to lose, man. Like, he's gotta go back for Alina. That was a really good story, I gotta say. A moment later, the door opens again. Pavel furtively slips back in, clutching a small bundle. I'm back, I'm back. Almost got caught. Here it is. Pavel sets the small bundle on the table and unwraps it. This is the vaccine? Yeah, I secretly saved these. They're from the last batch I received, the one on the right before my most recent long-term mission. The company gave to me to take along. How did you keep them? Since these vaccines don't come through official channels, the inoculation process isn't exactly strict. Delayed one shot by 3 days, the next by half a month, and you can stash a few away that way. Been doing that for a while. Never had a problem. Were you planning to sell them? No, I wouldn't dare. I just kept some for my family, in case something happened. I hadn't had the chance to give it to them yet when I got sent to ODE-07. I was going to keep hiding them. The vaccination record still exists after all. I'll be in trouble if my boss finds out. Pavel looks a bit sheepish after admitting to several deceptions. But I trust you both. From what you said earlier, this batch might not just be defective, right? Whoever's making this harmful stuff needs to be caught. Thank you for your help, Mr. Pavel. No problem at all. If there's nothing else, I'll head back now. If my colleagues suspect anything and tells the boss, I'm done for. With that, Pavel leaves the room again. Robella, thanks to you, we got a very valuable lead. Targeted investigation will save a lot of time. It was just a lucky find. Don't be modest. If it weren't for you, Mr. Pavel would have never opened up. He's full of reservations. But I think what finally made him come clean was your response. A response? Yeah, what you said about Mr. Pavel having fought and then fled the battlefield. I could sense his conflict. He doesn't know how to face that past. It was your words that moved him. Otherwise, he wouldn't have hinted the vaccine's over. This also makes me all the more certain. Kalina, do you know Persica overturning the original 3rd-gen doll design? Hmm? Kalina looks puzzled at Robella's sudden change of subject. Yes, back then, Persica's 3rd-gen doll tech was stolen, so she was forced to change research directions. I also heard from Lena that she participated in the new experiments as a test doll. Still, even without external factors, it wasn't the first time Persica had overturned her own design. You yourself assisted in her endeavors, didn't you? Yes, that was once considered a successful modification. With Persica's help and guidance, I saw my own wishes. I freed myself from my doll shackles and learned how to follow my heart and make my own choices. But later, Persica said I wasn't the 3rd-gen doll she envisioned. The modification scheme by Laiko succeeded, but she hadn't. Even if the tech hadn't been stolen, the plan would have been entirely scrapped, and I can just live on freely as Laiko's 3rd-gen doll. Did Persica explain why? Persica said a doll simply made to resemble a human wasn't what she expected a 3rd-gen doll to be. I regret not being able to help Persica, but even to this day, I still rejoice in the change of my own neural record, or cloud. Tonight's events make me even more convinced of this. Human sensibility is a weakness, but also an opportunity. That's something all dolls, myself included, should strive to consider. Robella's musings leave Kalina a little astounded. It seems to her that the boundary separating doll and human has grown very blurry. Robella may still be immature, but she is learning, and learning makes her all the more human-like. It's a pity Laiko is gone and Persica gave up using you as a prototype for her research. Human-doll cooperation could have looked very different. Is that what you'd like to see, Kalina? Me? Of course. To me, you dolls are both subordinates and friends. That's not just lip service. And I look forward to the time without combat missions or orders, where we can simply chat and go shopping together. Until then, Kalina, you can keep being our superior. Kalina chuckles at Robella's earnestness. Time is short. Then as your superior, I'll now issue your orders. Robella, please send me the manufacturer info and serial numbers of the vaccines that Mr. Pavel has kindly provided. And share the intelligence with Leva and the others. After that, wait for me to get in touch. Got it. Alright. Yeah, that was a nice scene. I really like that Pavel scene, man. As I mentioned earlier. We got a battle in this one here. Yeah, that was really nice. Makes you really think about, like, when you're in war and stuff, about like what you thought you might have and how you want to like maybe preserve that. Like you don't want to lose your life because you want to make sure you get back home, live a peaceful life now that you got something. Commander, I've traced the factory address from the vaccine serial numbers and synced the coordinates to you. This place is pretty close to where I am. Does Odessa use vaccines from Liv? Liv grew into a white zone city built around a native green zone. It's now a hub for the intercontinental railway. For transport, convenient satellite cities around Liv have various manufacturing plants and warehouses, but it is somewhat far. But look at it this way: if this batch really is problematic, hiding the manufacturing plants in a small place like that is safer than building it in Odessa. Kellen, the vaccine itself still needs lab testing. I know. Sopo has already taken the vaccine to a testing facility. Good. Then that's all we can do for now. I'll contact you when we have results. Great. The call ends. I look at the coordinates and feel a bit agitated. Angelia, Vladimir, faces flash through my mind. I don't even know them. Probably Girls Frontline 1 characters, I'm imagining. Some people made sacrifices to bring about peace. Others defended this fragile tranquility with flesh and blood. But the devil is always lurking in the shadows. Groza, change the Elmo's course to LVI-14. Kluchai, make preparations with Andrus and Belka. Understood. The factory windows are gently removed from the outside. Three dolls slip in lightly. Kluchai connects to the comms channel. Commander, we have successfully infiltrated the target factory. Preparing to begin investigation. Good, stay safe. Belka hugs the wall and peers up to the surveillance camera. She observes it for a while, then tilts her head in puzzlement. This is way too easy, don't you think? Not only are there no patrol droids, even the factory surveillance system is offline. It's like charity for thieves. It's not that someone's careless. They just don't need to bother anymore. Huh? Equipment and some leftover production materials are sealed and stored. But look. Andrus points at some equipment wrapped in thick plastic. What? Let me see. Gerard? Big sis, isn't this the one that bullied Callan and the others? Belka clamps her hand over her mouth at her own loudness. The storage tag says Gerard Group is asset pending disposal. How can this be? This factory belongs to Gerard? Looks like it. I checked it online before we came. This factory is undergoing an asset transfer. The legal representative and other info show under change or review. So it's hard to find out who owns it now. So, has Gerard sold his factory? Facing huge compensation and penalty costs, it's normal for Gerard to drop their tail and convert assets to liquid funds, but you're also wondering why Gerard would own a vaccine plant in the first place. Yeah, their main business is industrial manufacturing. How likely is Gerard, an industrial conglomerate, to invest in a new sector outside of its domain? And they're producing an anti-Elid vaccine. According to Callan's intel, they're campaigning for Odessa's interim chief. If they're doing something so noble, surely Rurik would be plastering this all over the place for brownie points. Maybe this actually proves the production line is problematic. Keep investigating and sharing your findings. Understood. Belka and I will sort through the materials and equipment. Andrus, you hack the electronics and try to find more valuable info. Be thorough. Don't miss anything. And this is where we get to the battles. Whoa. Beach 2. These devices' protection is way too weak. It really took any effort to hack into them. Don't get careless. We need to eliminate these defense units in order to find the exact intel we're looking for. You know, it is cool that we're seeing so much of the Squad 404. You know, not only do they look very cool, like I pretty much like each and every one of them. They're very much like very unique and stuff, but I just like their presence in the story. I feel like what they were, like 404 here, is pretty much what the original Elmo crew was like at the beginning of the game, where, you know, with Groza, Nemesis, Krolik, and Wolfin, they were like the main forces to go and do missions. But now we got 404, like, I guess pretty much taking their place. I feel like they've been going out a lot more in our place for the ones I mentioned. Oh, and that was it. Continue. Yeah, I mean, like, for me, like, just having them as my main team, like, it does feel kind of satisfying. Like, I just realized I'm actually playing as them right now. But yeah, I do like their presence in the story. Like, they always seem to be, like, the Elmo's, like, main squad to go out there and do missions. Of course, you know, sometimes we do focus on other dolls, but it seems like main story stuff, this squad here is the main one. And maybe it's because I assume the original, you know, 404 squad was the Lena and Leva. I'm guessing they were like them in the first game. So I'm guessing 404 in general would have to be the main one. And there is exit level 2 after finishing her probe. Oh, shoot, my bad. I skipped her. How is it? There was little valuable information. What I can tell is that the production in this factory was halted suddenly. The wrap-up was rushed. Some of the equipment still holds leftover production logs. Looks like that Rurik fellow is in quite a hurry this time, trying to sell off the entire factory so hastily. And you, did you find anything? Nothing. Belka and I checked the production materials and equipment carefully. They're all standard supplies. The machine models are the most common on the market. Nothing useful. Kukai sweeps her eyes over the machines coolly, as if she wants to cut them open. This is the first workshop. Let's check the others. There might be more clues. I just found the factory's digital floor plan. We can split up the search. And there is syncs the floor plan to the others. There are too many workshops. Let's start with the lab. Gerard shut things down in a hurry. That's where we'll most likely find residual data. Got it. Whatever you say, big sis, let's go. And that's it. Okay, we're just flying through again, like really fast. It's gonna be like this, like for this area. Following the floor plan, the team arrives at the lab, and the rest tears off a thick plastic sheet and powers up the terminal. As expected, it requires login access. That's normal. Lab equipment usually needs higher level authorization. They're still this strict, even after a full shutdown and transfer. If all we find are junk files again, I'm gonna be real mad. Prepare to enter level 2. Oh, there we go again. Yeah, here we go. Things are gonna go by fast. I wonder, like, if there's ever a Girls Frontline 3, dude, can you imagine what that game will be like? I feel like they need to, like, up their level if they ever make a sequel, like, in the far future. I feel like what they're going to do, I don't know. You know, with big games coming out, like with Ananta and Silver Palace, and now we got, like, Wuthering Waves being, like, one of the top games. Like, I feel like, can you imagine this game just being kind of like that, where it's an open world wasteland? But yeah, I can maybe see this game be like that in the far future. That's gonna be my prediction if there's ever a third game. Is that they're gonna be like open world wasteland once they're successfully logged in. Tokai's team exit level 2. Oh, come on. After all that, it's just standard inspection records, and the results all look fine. And the procedures produce vaccines are not around anymore. We can't even take samples for verification. We came here for nothing. Unable to find clues, Belka storms off from the terminal and sits on the huge lab table, drumming her fingers on its surface. Quieten down? I've never heard it said like that. Like, quiet down, yeah. Quieten down. Okay. Belka quickly stuffs her hands into her pockets. The data are all indeed standard test results, but they're not entirely useless. Huh? Belka hurries back over. What have you found? Look at the timestamps, leader. Boring trick. Huh? Isn't that just the last activation log? What's odd about it? The timestamp. That's around half a month ago, but since they were preparing the acid inventory, stopping early isn't unusual, right? Kukai sighs at Belka's confusion. Do you remember when the production machines outside stopped it operating? If I recall, a few days after this, so the lab stopped at first, and the workshop carried on to finish up orders? What's wrong with that? There's nothing unusual about a normal factory seizing production in stages, but if the factory is producing faulty goods, what would you do? I destroyed the evidence. Oh. Bilko finally catches on. Vix's Klukai, are you saying the technicians could have rewritten the lab's activation logs to hide their tracks? Klukai nods. I got it right. Why are you so pleased with yourself? You practically had it counted on your fingers like a kid. Even Andreas figured it out instantly. I'm not sure if she did. She might have just noticed something else. Look. Oh. Klukai glances at Andreas, who appears to have crashed, and sighs again. Let's try to reboot the activation logs first. That's funny. Oh my gosh, that scared me. What was that, like, her going up? I guess when I saw her, I thought we're still in the, the 2D cutscenes with the art. Just the way it's like positioned the camera here. I was like surprised to see her in 3D. Klukai, can I get a reward now? Is there a reward? There ought to be a reward, right? Whether or not you get a reward depends on how you do afterwards. Teehee, got it. Yeah, I wish there was more like these 3D cutscenes. I think one of my more favorite 3D cutscenes in this game is the I'm not talking about those like pre-rendered like cinematic cutscenes, but the ones like we saw right now was with the Yuhi event where she was dancing, just because that felt like an entire cutscene there, like an actual show. Like it feels so animated. But no, yeah, we just get like 2D visual novel cutscenes now. Alright, finish out this last guy and then we can move on. Yeah, I wonder just how far we are in the story now. I just wonder if I can maybe finish this whole thing off. We've gotten like really far since like 20 minutes in, I think. When Klukai and Belka return from level 2, and the rest has already recovered from her crash and waves at them like nothing happened. Leader, any findings? Yeah, the terminal logs show traces of deletion, modification, and backup transfers. The concealment was clever. Without your hints, he might have missed it. I contributed. See? I told you Andreas didn't actually get it. I totally blinked out. Probably crashed after the first 2 sentences. Forget it, it's not important. The wipe done in the outer workshop was really sloppy, but it's totally different story here. Whoever deleted these data clearly didn't want us to notice what was erased and transferred. Your timing discovery gave us a new angle for rechecking. Right. Under normal logic, if you trace the logs backward from the activation timestamp, no one would think to search for a date that doesn't exist. It's just such a sneaky dude. Good thing you're clever, big sis. Don't just celebrate yet. If we can't recover what was deleted, then it proves nothing. I'll help too. Let's reverse trace the operation logs and restore as much as we can. And that's it. Well, yeah, I'm kind of curious. I feel like we're moving by so fast. I feel like it's been like that. We're like, first a long cutscene and then a bunch of battles afterwards. And here we go again. But yeah, one thing I'll say, like, there's been like so much, like maybe because I'm like reading a lot as well, but like I just want to make sure I like speak properly, because I feel like in this video I've been doing very good in reading compared to like some other videos I've been doing. I know sometimes I don't speak the best. It kind of feels like every now and then, like maybe at first at the beginning of this game, I feel like I really suck. But this game was really good for me to help me just read more properly, even though I still have some hiccups every now and then. Klukai's team works together to recover the deleted data. This is all we could get. Some files were overwritten, gone for good. Let's see what we managed to salvage. Me, I'll open it. Belka quickly opens the file. Pharmaceuticals, something list? The rest is all garbled. Next one. This one won't open at all. Bilka tries to open more recovered files, but most are too corrupted to view. Oh, this one works. It's a procurement list. It must be important data. MCV something uh, too much gibberish. Some kind of chemical compound? Vodka, 5 crates. Vodka? Isn't that alcohol? How did you know? Check page 2. Oh, it's the same thing on page 2, but it's 10 crates this time. And after that, huh? There's more? And more? What? And more still? What's the point of deleting a supply list like this? There's no room for drunkards in the lab. Jeez, they're ridiculous. Belka angrily shuts the window and keeps checking the other files. Finally, after several failures, another file opens successfully. It's a partially corrupted research log. Oh. So we got March, unknown date or day, 2070 something. The latest experiment data aligns with expectations. It can be inferred that covalent bond adjustments in targeting redacted effectively enhance radiation resistance in test subjects. The issue to resolve is the success rate of redacted cultures to enable larger scale experiments. Unknown month, day, and we know it's in 2000. Receive new medium redacted -3140 from redacted. Unknown month, 24th of, probably a 2070 something. At the repeated tests, medium blank 3, probably this one, 3140 performs well. Culture success rate of redacted improves by 40%. Plan to replace active ingredients redacted in the vaccine with redacted. Unknown month, day, we know it's probably in 2070. Medium, they see it here before? No, they redacted it. Redacted dash 3140, showing abnormalities applied for a new medium procurement. In February, unknown day. I'm gonna guess probably the next year or some other year in 20 something. New vaccine redacted clinical data meets expectations. Test subjects display strong radiation resistance and more redacted. Oh, we got more. A March blank of 2070 something. Clinical data shows test subjects' radiation resistance declines sharply within the predicted latency. No ELID symptoms appear. Decided to continue observation after some discussion. March of unknown day, probably 2070 something. Redacted symptoms emerge. Disease progression accelerating. Medium redacted dash 3141. Again shows abnormalities. Apply for new medium redacted. Redacted month, day, and probably 2070 something. Data shows test subjects injected with new vaccine redacted exhibit strong initial radiation resistance, but it lasts no more than redacted hours before rapidly decaying. Continued to exposure to contamination leads to ELID infection, but due to the vaccines, I guess it's not redacted. It's more like corrupted, right? It's a corrupted data. Uh, unknown active ingredients. Unknown latency increases early symptoms of milder. Subjects' own blank show almost no radioactivity. Unknown date. Data shows disease acceleration probability rises to 45%. Experimental subjects injected with blank emit radiation levels blank of ordinary ELID. Patients after full onset of disease. Experiment successful blank. Unknown month and day, but 2074. Medium blank 32 something failed. Cremated for disposal. New medium delayed by accident. Production halted. And the rest is blank. Experiment successful? No way. This vaccine is completely ineffective. It even made things worse. If you follow their logic, that means they were developing this kind of vaccine intentionally from the start. In that case, the transferred staff who got vaccinated passed health checks and then fell ill soon after returning to the safe zones. It all makes sense. You mean they were already infected with ELID when they returned? Yes. Their onset was delayed because of this vaccine. During the incubation or mild symptom stage, as long as their vibration index stayed below the threshold, The security gates would treat them as normal returnees, so these scanners wouldn't raise any alarms. According to this log, once fully developed, the disease accelerates and the collapsed particle radiation is stronger than in typical ELID cases. That explains the higher secondary spread rates. ELID can still be cured in early stage, but once it progresses, that's another story. Odessa has so many residents. Don't dwell on that for now. Save these files, we're heading back. After reviewing the materials Klukai's team has brought back, I connect to Callan's comms channel and relay everything. Mr. Pavel avoided disaster precisely because he didn't get vaccinated. Seems likely he's a victim of the secondary outbreak. That's horrifying. The Gerard group has gone insane. What do they gain by making so many people sick? Profit born of chaos. But weren't they liquidating the factory to pay compensation? And if they tamper with the vaccines, causing so many people to fall ill at once, then the PSA will open an investigation sooner or later. If things get serious, other departments will get involved too. Isn't Gerard afraid of being exposed? That only means one thing. Gerard didn't orchestrate the automaton malfunction. It really caught them off guard. If that didn't happen, the transfer personnel wouldn't have returned all at once, and the impact would have been much smaller. According to what you've said, Rurik has a strong influence over both the Oblast governments and the media, so in the end, this would have just been dismissed as a few isolated incidents. Exactly. As long as the Oblast government downplays it and treats it like as an ordinary contamination accident, the PSA naturally wouldn't open a case. So that means, with the ELID outbreak spreading like this, even Gerard has lost control? Probably. But if they can turn it around, Rurik's scheme might have actually succeeded. A special vaccine, combined with conveniently timed malfunctions at security checkpoints, will make infection numbers skyrocket in short time. Odessa's healthcare system can't possibly handle that many patients all at once. The Oblast government will have to spend more money commissioning the Gerard group to build hospitals and maintain equipment. If Gerard controls both the security gates and the distribution of the faulty vaccines, they can even create a false image, an illusion that Gerard's technology breakthroughs have once again driven ELID away from the green zone. That means Gerard would get exactly what they want. Fortunately, we found a direct proof of their crimes. Kellen, how's the vaccine? Has Sopa delivered it to the lab? Yes, it's almost reached the target city. There's been no interference along the way. Looks like Major Fedia and Gerard have too much on their plate to pay attention to us with this time. We haven't run into any more trouble during our stay at ODE-07 either. Also, Diva, you've got something to say, haven't you? It's just a theory, and to be honest, there's no evidence. I don't want to make a baseless claim. That's why I'm not sure if I should bring it up. Go on. It's not like we have fine people for getting things wrong. Alright. Commander, do you remember the health report you sent to Callan about Helena's condition? I also read the report myself. To put it simply, Helena will show symptoms of organ failure without collapse radiation. Oh. Which means Helena isn't truly fully immune. She's more like a byproduct of an experiment. You're right. I don't think she is the Kavidas that Paratus refers to. If that's the case, then it matches up with what's stated here. Neva reopens the recovered files brought back by Kukai's team. What have you found? There's a strange phrasing in the logs that caught my eye. Medium failed, cremated for disposal. Normally, when a pharmaceutical lab's culture medium expires, they dispose of it via sterilization process, not cremation. Even if heat treatment is used, it's described with precise terms like incineration, dry heat, or moist heat sterilization. Cremation, though, that's a word you use for something like a cadaver, isn't it? You don't mean? No way. Now that you mention it, Kukai's team did say the vaccine factory's lab had an examination table big enough for a human body, and there was an oxygen generator in the corner. That doesn't necessarily mean it was human. I don't know, just, like she said, that's what I thought too when I saw the word cremated. Like, that probably means it's a human. It could have been something else alive, right? Ordinary labs use lab rats too, don't they, Leva? You're right, but this lab rat just happens to be linked to the Gerard group. Helena was originally cargo consigned for transport by the Gerard group. but because of Kalin and the commander's interference, she was never successfully delivered. It matches the timing of the final culture medium mentioned in the research logs. They lined up perfectly. That little girl, there's no way. If your theory is right, then according to these logs, the culture media, or rather the Helenas, were transported out from somewhere, passed through bounty hunters and varjagers, had their chases wiped, and were finally sent to the green zones, into the factories like the one we found. Helena's multiple. This conclusion isn't inconceivable to me, but deep down, I can't bring myself to believe it. That's absolutely abominable. That's a word I can't even say. Hold on. I remember I tried saying this in Pokemon. Abominable. There we go. Like I gotta like say it like really slow and also think about it too. Abominable. That's absolutely abominable. I hope I said that right. Because I know I speak fast. Those people have never known the meaning of mercy. All of us fall silent. We can't help but think of those white figures, bodies fused with machinery, and of that hidden name, William. He was hurled to the earth, and his angels with him. If heaven and hell truly exist, then the demon we once buried and his heralds have broken their chains and returned again. It's because of monsters like these that we can never stop, not for a single moment. Kellen, what do we do next? We'll continue assisting ODE-07's Public Security Administration in maintaining order and wait for Sopo's test results on the vaccine. I'll send all the intel we gathered today to them so they can perform targeted analysis. And Sopo? She's staying at the lab for now. In case our operation gets exposed, she'll have backup on site. Leva, aside from helping the PSA, you'll also have to make time to give me some remote assistance in organizing the evidence we'll need to file charges against the Gerard group. If the test results match our expectations, I'll notify Command. The Non-Military Forces Administration will submit the materials and request prosecution of the Gerard group, as well as detention of its executives. No problem. Looks like our handover in Liv Oblast will have to postpone for a while, huh? I'm afraid so, Commander. Please remain on standby or operate near Liv Oblast. Take care of Helena. Roger that. Never thought I'd see the day when you're the one giving me orders, Callan. I'll start compiling the documents now. Callan's face flushes beet red as she quickly ends the call. Okay, that's it. Yeah, let me see just how much we have left. Maybe I'll do it all in this one video, because that was quite a bit. Oh no, we still have ways to go. What the heck? I mean, that felt kind of fast for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, no, that still looked like a lot. I thought, I don't know, just going by the previous one, it just felt like we went by so fast. Okay, no, I think I'll just go ahead and end it here. Yeah, that was very interesting on the whole Pavel story, as I mentioned before. And then now we got this whole thing where it seems like I'm not sure if I fully understand it. You know, I was like just trying my best to read, but I did, you know, maybe pick some things up. But I'm guessing that, you know, with the Gerard group, they were working on this vaccine where they pretty much, I guess, were trying to get people infected, but like they're trying to like not make it known. And so like it would like, you know, I guess have the government, you know, have them be the ones to like build the hospitals and all that stuff, all the buildings, since that's what they specialize in. So it's kind of like Gerard getting control of the area in Odessa. But yeah, not sure if I fully understood that. But yeah, they're making like these faulty vaccines where, you know, at first they seem fine, but then like at some point they'll get like really sick. Like that's how they get through like the security checkpoints where, you know, after being inspected, like they seem fine, but like once they're in the city, they'll get like really sick, and that's how like I guess the disease will spread or something because of that. But yeah, if that's the case, I think it's very interesting. I do wonder just you know, I feel like with this story now of like how it's going with the whole vaccines and stuff, we saw that in the Intertwined Assault story. I kind of want to see like how this wraps up into that. Like especially with that one mention of Groza. Apparently there's like another. I assume we'll meet that. We'll like see this at the very end of the story here. I'm kind of curious about that because that was a big thing that they mentioned at the beginning of the Intertwined Assault. Anyway, guys, yeah, I'll go ahead and end it here. Next time we'll maybe take 2 more videos. I think that's pretty much uh, the remainder of this. But yeah, I'll keep on going, man. So that'll be it for now. That's game.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. Wake up, today's gonna be a good